Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack compelling ideas and, well, give you the insights you need for this complex world. Today, we're jumping headfirst into something that feels pretty urgent, a real paradox of our time. We live in this age of incredible connection, right? Instant messages, video calls all over the world, live streams, nonstop. Exactly. Every notification, every screen seems to promise closeness. But what if? What if all this digital togetherness means we're actually losing something vital?
Mhm.
What if real kindness, patience, actual empathy? What if that feels harder to find now than ever before?
It's a really powerful question. It cuts right to the bone of our daily lives, doesn't it?
It really does. And it's the core idea we're exploring today, sparked by this great piece from Rosita at Amarae, The Enduring Power of Compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Her work basically asks, have we forgotten how to genuinely care for each other? Or is compassion just, waiting quietly for us to notice it again?
Waiting to be rediscovered, maybe.
Yeah. And look, this isn't about just being nice. That's not what we're getting at.
No, it goes much deeper.
Our mission today is to really dig into what compassion means, why it feels like such a struggle in this hyper-connected world.
And it does feel like a struggle sometimes.
Definitely. And crucially, we want to find practical ways, things you can actually do to cultivate it, both for yourself and, in your community.
Small steps, big impact.
Exactly. Think of this deep dive as your shortcut, your guide to understanding this absolutely critical human quality. Okay, let's get started.
Let's do it.
So this digital web we've built, it's constantly buzzing, connections everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Seemed like it.
But Rosita's piece really zeroes in on that feeling. Despite all the channels, that genuine human warmth, that felt understanding, it often feels missing, scarce even.
It's a critical point.
Are we kind of overlooking the very essence of connection while we chase constant digital contact?
Well, the enduring power of compassion gives us a definition that's much richer than just being nice. It's not just politeness.
Right.
The source says it's about creating genuine understanding and human warmth. In a world that often pushes speed over substance, efficiency over empathy.
So it's active, not passive.
Exactly. It's about noticing the person in front of you, really seeing them, maybe seeing the invisible struggles they might be carrying, and then choosing to respond with patience and kindness.
Choosing, that's key.
It is. And the author stresses it begins right there, in those small personal choices, how we listen, the patience we manage to find, the simple recognition we offer someone.
And those small things.
They ripple outward. They genuinely shape our shared reality, the kind of world we actually live in day to day.
That idea of the small personal choices really hits home because we do have these amazing tech bridges connecting us globally.
Incredible tools.
But sometimes that warmth, that patience, care, and understanding, it just seems to slip through our fingers, like we built the highway but forgot the fuel.
That's a good way to put it. The source actually frames compassion as the bridge itself, not just a nice quality, but the mechanism for authentic connection.
Ah, okay. The bridge itself.
Yeah, it's what lets us pause, genuinely try to step into someone else's shoes, and essentially say, I see you, you matter.
And that's not just fluffy sentiment.
Not at all. It's fundamental. Think bigger picture. Without that bridge, communities start to fray. Communities weaken. Isolation grows. Division deepens.
You could see that happening.
For sure. Compassion's absence isn't just sad. It actively erodes social cohesion. But flip that coin. With compassion, we stitch ourselves back together.
How so?
We build relationships that heal, support families better, create communities where people truly feel, they aren't alone. It's vital for social health.
So there's hope in the piece, too.
Definitely. The message is quite clear. Compassion is not gone. It's still within us, waiting quietly, like an ember, ready to be fanned back into flame.
It's so easy to think of compassion as just individual, a private virtue, helping a neighbor, listening to a friend. Good deeds, but separate acts.
That's a common view.
But maybe Rosita's piece is pushing us further, suggesting it's not just personal, but foundational for a society to actually work well.
That's exactly where the source elevates the discussion. It moves beyond just individual acts and frames compassion as a core cultural value.
A cultural value. Explain that a bit more.
Okay, so societies that don't just have kind people, but that actively prioritize kindness, understanding, and empathy as a whole, those societies thrive.
Why? What's the mechanism?
Because people feel safe, respected, and supported. There's psychological safety. And that's huge. It lets people take risks, collaborate freely, Innovate without fear.
Versus a culture without that value.
Then mistrust creeps in.
Mm.
Conflict grows. Fear replaces generosity. It changes the whole dynamic.
Can you give an example?
Sure, the workplace is a great one from the piece. Where kindness is genuinely part of the culture. People collaborate better, stress levels drop, creativity flows. People are invested, not just compliant.
And the opposite.
Environments where it's all sharp elbows, where competition rules and empathy is absent, suddenly the air feels heavy and people shrink instead of shine. It hits morale, sure,
Right.
but also productivity, innovation, everything.
So it's not just a nice to have.
Not at all. The source calls it a vital ingredient for collective well-being, for resilience.
Look, okay, that makes sense. It's bigger than just individual kindness. So if it's so vital, why does it feel harder to find sometimes? What's pushing against it?
Ah, the million-dollar question. And the piece suggests a big part of the answer is the modern emphasis on individualism and achievement.
Or focus on me.
Sort of. We're pushed constantly to focus on our personal goals, our image, our brand, our success story.
Which isn't inherently bad.
No, ambition is fine.
Mhm.
But the piece warns that if we aren't careful, it comes at the expense of noticing what's happening in the lives around us. Our focus just gets narrower. We tune out the people nearby.
And social media feels like it pours gasoline on that fire, right?
Right.
Because mostly people post the highlights, not the messy bits, the anxieties, the everyday grind.
Exactly. It's the highlight reel phenomenon.
The perfect vacation, the big promotion, the flawless family photo.
Right. And the source points out something insidious here. It says, while we're busy comparing ourselves to someone else's highlights, compassion begins to erode.
How does comparison erode compassion?
It shifts our internal question. Instead of wondering, what might they be going through? What's their story? We silently ask, why am I not doing as well as them?
Ah, so it turns connection into competition.
Precisely. It reframes the other person as a benchmark, not a fellow human. And over time, the source says, comparison breeds criticism, competition, and disconnection rather than empathy. It builds a wall.
Okay, but let's be fair. Social media has done amazing things too. Staying in touch with family far away.
Absolutely. Sharing vital stories, building communities people might not find offline.
Yeah, finding your tribe, sometimes across the globe. It's not all bad.
No, the source definitely acknowledges those huge benefits. But then it examines the sharp edges. Well, first, anonymity fuels hostility. People feel they can say things online, hidden behind a screen, they'd never dare say face-to-face. That distance lowers the bar for cruelty.
You see that constantly.
Then there are the algorithms. They tend to create bubbles. They show us more of what we already like or believe, narrowing our perspective.
Which makes empathy harder.
Much harder, especially empathy with those who are different from us. And then there's the fact that, unfortunately, negativity spreads faster than kindness.
Why is that?
It seems outrage gets more clicks than empathy. Content that divides or shocks often travels further and faster than messages of understanding or connection.
Wow. It makes you wish the platforms were designed differently. Imagine if they rewarded kindness, not conflict. If compassion got the visibility.
It's a nice thought. But the piece stresses we can't just wait for the platforms or algorithms to change. We have to take personal responsibility.
For how we use them.
Exactly. Every share, every comment, every post has the power to either build up or tear down. We need to recognize our own impact, our own choices in that digital space.
That's empowering, actually. We have a choice. And here's what I found really hopeful in Rosita's piece. Compassion doesn't need some huge dramatic effort. It doesn't require grand gestures. It grows best in the small things, consistent, everyday actions. Not waiting for a big moment, but making it normal.
Yes, that's a core message. And the enduring power of compassion gives us some really concrete strategies. First, it suggests practice awareness.
Awareness of what?
Of yourself, really.
Yeah.
Gently understanding your own thoughts, your feelings. The better you know your own inner world, the better you can recognize and respond to what's happening for others. It builds empathy from the inside out.
Okay, self-awareness first. What else?
Second, actively notice opportunities to help. And these can be tiny things. Holding a door, really checking in with a friend, not just the quick, how are you, smiling at a cashier.
Do those small things really matter?
The source says they absolutely do. They build habits of compassion, like exercising a muscle. Small reps make the bigger lifts possible later.
Right. Makes sense.
Third, be intentional online. Make a conscious choice. Share uplifting stuff. Leave comments that encourage, not tear down. Model a different way.
Use that choice we were talking about.
Exactly. And finally, especially if you have kids around, model compassion for children. They learn way more from watching us than from listening to us lecture about being kind.
So true.
The whole point is weaving compassion into the everyday fabric of life, not reserving it for special occasions.
Bringing it back to the ordinary.
Yeah,
It's not always about the big rescue. Sometimes
No.
it's just how you listen without needing to jump in and fix things.
precisely. The piece elaborates on that. Steeply, it advises. It's not just hearing the words, it's letting someone truly feel heard. Sometimes that's the most compassionate gift, just pure, non-judgmental listening.
Giving them that space.
Yes. Another huge one is to pause before reacting. Remember that coworker who snapped? The source prompts us. Maybe they're carrying something heavy you can't see. That pause creates space for empathy instead of just reacting defensively.
It breaks the cycle.
It does. Then there are micro-kindnesses. A genuine compliment, a quick thank you note, even just a gentle smile. They seem small, but they add up, creating a buffer of goodwill.
And you mentioned self-compassion earlier.
Absolutely critical. The piece emphasizes, show compassion to yourself. It's not selfish. Your inner voice, how you talk to yourself, sets the tone for everything else. Being kind to yourself actually strengthens the neural pathways for empathy toward others.
Wow, so it literally wires your brain for more compassion.
That's the idea. Self-compassion isn't an indulgence. It's foundational training for outward compassion.
Okay, so that's how we cultivate it in ourselves. But what about encouraging it in others, spreading it? How do we make compassion more contagious in our communities?
Yeah, because it can be contagious. We can't force kindness, obviously, but we can create conditions where it's more likely to bloom.
Out.
The source gives a few pointers. First, and maybe most obviously, lead by example. Consistently model the patience and empathy you want to see. People learn from watching.
Walk the talk.
Second, recognize kindness when you see it. Don't let it pass unnoticed. Thank the person who held the door. Praise the colleague who helped out. Notice when a child shares. Acknowledging it reinforces value. It tells people, this matters here.
Makes sense. Shine a light on it.
Third, actively create safe spaces. Environments where people don't fear being ridiculed or judged are places where vulnerability and therefore compassion can actually emerge. Think about meetings, family gatherings, online groups.
Psychological safety again.
It's key. And finally, share uplifting stories. Stories of kindness, of empathy in action. They're powerful. They remind us it's possible, it's happening, and they subtly encourage others to participate. Compassion inspires compassion.
So bringing this all together as we wrap up our deep dive on the enduring power of compassion, let's zoom out again.
Okay.
This clearly isn't just about being nice. Rosita's piece hammers home that compassion is vital for our own mental health, for strong relationships, for communities that can actually support each other and bounce back from challenges.
It's essential infrastructure in a way. Social infrastructure.
Yeah, I like that. And even if things feel bleak sometimes, the news, the online arguments, even if it feels like compassion is fading, remember what the piece says. It just takes one choice, one single moment, one pause, one kind word, one small act to start bringing it back. You have that power. We all do, every day.
And with that thought, maybe here's a question to carry with you, directly from the source. So next time you scroll your feed, stand in line, or navigate a tough conversation, ask yourself, am I adding to connection or to disconnection?
That really puts the choice right in front of you, doesn't it?
It does.
Remember, it takes pretty much the same energy to type a kind comment as a negative one, but the impact, worlds apart. When you choose compassion, you start a ripple. And you might never know how far it reaches. Compassion hasn't vanished. It hasn't left us. It's here. It's waiting, ready to grow. The real question is, will we let it?